What's going on, guys? What's going on, chat? It's cold, man. It's cold. I don't know why, but today I've been a lot more cold than I normally am. Can you hear me, Dirt?
Yes, I can hear you fine, sir.
I have no idea why it's always like this. It's like literally at the beginning with this new system, I can't hear them for a couple of seconds.
Hmm.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you.
You can hear
It's
me?
always the same way. I can't hear you for a couple seconds, and then bam, I can start hearing you. It's stupid, but what's going on, guys? This is we're back here at another Addict show. We talk about the past, present, future of gaming. I'm setting up stuff a little bit. We got a little bit different of a show for you guys today. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, not much, but a little bit. So Dirt, man, what's been going on, man?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I don't know why, but like I'm tired. So like,
Really? Well, it happens, It
mm-hmm.
happens.
So what you been playing, man? What's been going on with you?
Well, I've been playing actually Hi-Fi Rush. I'm on the last boss actually, so I'll probably finish that later tonight. It's the last couple of bosses in that game is not easy, by the way.
Iron Rush.
It's definitely a little challenge there.
The chick with the wings was a little.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yes.
actually the one before the one with the wings, it kind of that gave me the most issues, like because it wasn't a traditional fight.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I'm on the final boss. I'm assuming you finished this issue that like deep into the game.
Yeah, I already beat it. I beat it Saturday. Last Saturday.
Okay,
1 second.
okay. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I'm on the final boss, and I also been playing a little
Yeah, I
Dead
beat it
Space
Saturday.
remake. So
yeah, which we're
okay,
gonna talk about it. Actually, let's go straight into that, man. Let's go straight into that. High Rush thoughts. Look at that, chat. I'm getting a little bit more advanced here. A little bit, man. Just a little bit. So, as you can see, we got let me make sure that the gameplay isn't playing too loud. I'm going to keep it up just a little bit. I do like the aesthetic of this. Obviously, it could look a little bit cleaner. I will admit to you guys, but I did beat this game, beat it fully, and I want to just go over little things that we played on it. What exactly did you enjoy it? I want to give your overall impression. Someone said, "Take care of that copyright music." You're right. I'm just going to mute the whole stream.
yeah.
I didn't even think about that. So what's going on, man? What is your thoughts on Hi-Fi Rush?
Listen, I'm going to tell you. Somebody called me out right like yesterday for saying, "Oh, you cap all Xbox games," and that's just not true. It's just not true. If I like a game, I like a game. If I don't, I don't. So I'm saying that to say this. Hi-Fi Rush is an absolute blast. I'm not just saying that because I'm Team Xbox. It is a blast. I saw somebody say on Twitter, it kind of reminds me of a PS2 original Xbox Dreamcast style of game. And bro, as someone who's older that was in his 20s during those days, in his early 20s, that definitely what it reminds me of. The music is awesome, the gameplay is awesome, little story, but the graphics is something that really impressed me because I told the story, Addict, when we heard that Tango Gameworks is quote unquote doing a passion project. We was like, what does that mean? But I would say I am pleasantly surprised with Hi-Fi Rush. It's a great game. Like you said, you finished it. I'm on the final boss. And I actually stopped playing Dead Space Remake to 100% focus on this game to finish it. And it's an awesome game, man. It's just, it's a breath of fresh air.
To be honest with you, now look, Dead Space Remake, amazing experience. I hope everyone enjoys Dead Space Remake. But at the same time, it's like, look, this is a new experience, and
It's
I
a
would
new
recommend
experience,
someone trying something like this out. I get it. It's not the most ideal thing, you know. I feel like they had to promote this as a rhythm game, but part of me wishes they would have really vocalized like the amount of stuff that you don't really have to do in terms of a rhythm game. You know what
I
I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree with
Like,
that. Yeah.
man, my computers are going crazy right now. Everything good though. Everything good. So I think that's my biggest thing. It's like, you know, is this a rhythm game? Yes, but I don't feel like they really capitalize and explain it's a rhythm game, but you could play this exactly how you want to. They can you don't it kind of it rewards you for having a rhythm. It doesn't punish you, and I think that needs to really be front and center in the marketing.
Yep. I think you put that perfectly. It rewards you, but it doesn't punish you. Absolutely.
Yeah, so someone said they said that in the presentation, though. They did, but you know how it
Yeah.
is. A lot of these places, when it comes to stuff like this, they'll say something like that, but if you actually like play the game, they don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
or they'll be like, okay, you know, this is rhythm. Be like, but is it really? Do you really need? Can you really play it without a rhythm? And a lot of these games, they sell you a dream. Because that's all they care about is you playing the game. They don't care if it's good, if it's bad. You know, I'm gonna say we started this at 7 minutes. I'm bugging, man. I'm bugging. Timestamp Mafia. I apologize. You know,
They're
if
gonna
you
be
guys
after
want,
you, man. They're gonna
if
be
you want
after
to
you.
send, if you want to send the crew, it's okay. I got time. I got time today. It's cold, man. I'm gonna hear you walk through the door because you ain't gonna be able to walk anywhere without shivering.
Yeah, man. They're gonna be on your head, man. You better get them timestamps correct, sir.
But I do enjoy this game. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's not spoil anything. How did you feel about the mission before the last boss, where it's like stuff was going crazy? You know, there's that big thing in the middle. I'm sure you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like that was the height of this game.
Oh yeah, that was fire, bro. That was absolute fire. Like okay, not to spoil anything, but there's a part where you fight something that's pretty big, right? And that was just absolute fire, man. That goes to show you that this game is polished. It's polished. I would probably say it's a high quality double A. And the only reason I say double A because my boy Shaun 76 said the price is only $30. So I said, okay, technically that's a double A game price. But damn, my boy Phantom Kraken that's in the chat, he said he's calling it a triple A because it's just that polished and some of the boss fights are super creative. Yeah, this game surprised the hell out of me. After Xbox 2022 not having any first party games and stuff like triple A first party games, even though this technically isn't a triple A, damn, it's high quality, bro.
Yeah, and that's where I always get like the confusion on what a triple A, what a double A, what a single A.
Mm.
It can get very confusing on what is what. And I think this is a prime example of a game that is a double A that I would say.
Mm.
But if they would have had like Sunset Overdrive money, could
Yeah.
have easily been a very successful triple A game.
Easily.
And I think that they did very well with what they had. Can you shut the door, please?
Shane, he said this is a triple A, but he got two A's capitalized and the last a small case. So yeah, I like that, Shane G. I agree with that. I like that.
Yeah, so you know what's crazy? I'm looking at the chat. Why is people showing up in different colors all of a sudden? Like red, light blue. Is that like what their profile is? Like I don't know what's going on there. Is that happening over there on your stuff?
I'm seeing a lot of colors. Why so serious? Wade Johnson. I don't know.
I don't know why their names are different colors now.
Oh, that's not on my end. No, that's on your end for whatever reason. Oh, their names aren't different colors on my end. No.
Yeah, on my end, they got people with their names red, blue.
Oh no. Oh, I did. You know, I did just see somebody. Drunken Ninja. His is green. Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
Drunken
So,
Ninjas is green because he's a member of the.
oh, okay, okay.
His makes sense. But they change. Maybe they're doing an update on the back end,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure some stuff out. Because we lit. I hear you, man. I hear you. I think that Hi-Fi Rush is so far one of the better games I've played this year. It's not so much into the year, so obviously that's pretty easy. But what I will say is I think this is the best game Microsoft's made in years.
Mm.
That's come out of their camp.
Yeah.
That's just
listen,
my personal opinion on the matter.
I can't disagree with you, bro. It's just that quality. It's just that polished. It's a really good game, really good game. And I think it's so good that even though there are some people trying to hate on it, so it's cartoony. They was talking that trash, but they quickly shut up when they saw the success, the review scores, and how Digital Foundry said is one of the best looking games they've seen. So a lot of those guys shut their traps. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. This is one of the best Xbox exclusives in a while. I mean, like besides the Forza Horizon games, obviously, but that's racing games. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a quality game, bro.
And to me, it's just like why don't people want these games to succeed? Like the console war thing is just be crazy sometimes. Like because these do good, that means future games are going to do good. If these do extremely well, that means other people are going to, bite their style a little bit, make better games.
Mm-hmm.
I see someone said I need an Evil Within 3. But keep
absolutely.
in mind
I
that
agree with that,
I don't know if they'll make an Evil Within 3, but the person that's actually developing the game, he didn't make this, like the head of the studio.
Right.
Because he was there with another individual, and he's the studio lead on this game.
John Johannes.
Yeah, so John Johannes actually made this game. But let me ask you this, Dirt. Seeing the high quality of Hi-Fi Rush, I wasn't the biggest fan of Pentiment. I wasn't the biggest fan
I couldn't get into it. Yeah.
Of Grounded to a point. I think it's a lot better game than a lot of people give credit for. But I was very against them making Pentiment because I was like, there's a lot of other stuff that you guys could have done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But after seeing this, I do think that I've come around on that. Where it's like they could easily do stuff and have a really good success rate with it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I played Pentiment for like 30 minutes. I couldn't get into it, but I will give it another shot. I'm okay with games like Pentiment and Grounded as long as they're still developing games like Avowed and Outer Worlds 2. I'm definitely fine with games like Hi-Fi Rush, and it's even better because they're making games like this a high quality double A, borderline triple A, but at the same time, they're still going to do some triple A titles. I love that. I think that's important because that means that we're going to still be getting consistent content. And every game. Listen, bro, I am a 46-year-old man, right? I say my age for a reason. Some people want to say I'm in the 50s. I'm in my 50s, but I'm not. I will not lie about my age. I've been playing games for a long time. And there were games back in the 90s I would play that would be 30 minutes long, bro. Finish them. Oh, that game was amazing. Oh, absolutely amazing. So now we have these huge AAA games, which I love them. But at the same time, every game doesn't have to be a huge AAA game. A game like Tunic, I love that game. A game like, what's the game with the Black Crow? Death's Door, love that game. There's so many games that we can play, and a game like Hi-Fi Rush, man, was perfect. Absolutely perfect. The perfect timing, the perfect situation. Shadow dropped. Absolutely love it. And it's sitting at a 90 Metacritic right now. Are you co-addict, man? Got it cold, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like maybe I'm starting to catch something. But like,
Mm.
geez, I'm freezing.
Oh man, that's
I,
why. Like, in my basement is always cold. That's why I'm always wearing hoodies and thick
see,
sweaters.
I have a Naruto hoodie I looked for briefly.
Mm.
Today's just not been a good day for me in general. But I'm starting to come around. I think. See, the problem is this bed's leaning against the heater because here
Oh.
my apartment is built underground a little bit. Like
Mm.
I have a window, but it's literally almost at the ground floor.
Wow.
So like
Got you.
to about my
I
kneecap is underground.
Yeah. I got you. I can picture that. I seen apartments with like the first floor is kind of underground. Yeah, I seen that before.
Yeah. So pretty much what's happened is the what's what I'm looking for. The heat is trapped in this apartment to a lot of degree.
Mm.
It would be like the only time I've turned the heat on is when we had the huge cold wave that was
Mm.
like below 15, 20 degrees.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever really turn it on
Mm.
is during stuff like that. Most of the time it stays relatively warm in here. That's why
Uh-huh.
my bed's against the heater. You know what I'm saying? But after the podcast, I think that bed's getting scooted out a little bit, and I think I'm about to turn that heater on.
I know.
We,
Yeah, man. You might
we
have
got a
to.
$5 super the Angry Therapist MD. Hi-Fi Rush was a great game. It was, and it wasn't $70. Yeah, definitely. This game would have been obliterated if it was $70. I'm glad that
And,
they have chose not to do that.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not a PC guy, but when you saw like the user reviews on Steam, listen, man, you can say you're one of my PC guys. I'm not a PC guy at all, but they will be honest. If they don't like a game, they will tell you they don't like a game. And that game had a lot of positive review scores, and that is goes to show you that it's a damn good game, man. As much like people try to hate on it, but I think this is one of them types of games where they can hate on it as much as they can, but at the end of the day, you really can't hate on it if you understand what I'm saying. You can, like I said, a 90 Metacritic, a selling well. It was in top 5 on Steam, and it was a shadow drop. So I think that's the type of game, man. You really, you can try your best to hate on it, but in reality, you really can't unless you just,
It was a
like
shadow
make this stuff.
drop.
Yeah, the shadow drop, and it's killing it, man. It's still a hot topic right now, and it's been a week. So
Yeah, someone said, "Are you still going to Planet Fitness?" I didn't go yesterday or today. I'm probably going to go tomorrow. I'm definitely not trying to go in that cold gym right now. Definitely not trying to do that. But I think Hi-Fi Rush, they showed me that it's like, look, you might not like all of the passion projects that some of these companies do, but there's a lot of perks to these passion projects. One, it gives the studio creative outlet to keep some of the vets and the seniority and a lot of the talent there at the studio, because they're able to they're able to stretch that creative memory, that creative muscle. And when you're able to do that, you're a little bit more happier in the scenario. I honestly
morale
feel
goes up.
yeah, and then you could keep more people because people feel like they have options.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have options. And then, look, I didn't like Pendament wasn't really my type of game, but I loved Hi-Fi Rush. So you give and you get, man.
Right.
Not every one of these games is going to appeal to everyone, but I can guarantee you the studios that Obsidian. I might not have liked Grounded. I think it was a decent game, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that wouldn't even try Grounded, but they liked Hi-Fi Rush like me. And there's some people that didn't like Hi-Fi Rush that were like Grounded. And then there's some people that don't like either one of those, but they like Pendant.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's
I think the studio thing is a win. Keep doing that. My question to you, Dirt, and tell me if I'm wrong. Do you think that when it comes to what's what I'm looking for? A studio that has multiple teams, do you think there is a number where at that point you're spreading the numbers of the actual studio too thin. Of how many teams is there?
Um, for a second, I thought Obsidian would spread themselves too thin. Because they have like 250 developers or something around there, and they had like 5 different games in development at the same time. But I guess it's like I'm gonna look at it like this: if they're able to handle it, if the games they're releasing are quality, like Obsidian, I don't really, like Pentiment is really not my boogie, but it reviews solid. Same thing with Grounded, Outer Worlds. I'm assuming in the future, hopefully, Avowed reviews great, and also Outer Worlds too. So if they're able to pull it off, I say go for it. If they're able to do it, just like even with I remember like Ninja Theory when like before they were bought by Microsoft, they already had a small studio, like 75 people at the time. Like, of course, they're much bigger now, but they were just doing games and had 10 people doing this game. 20 people did Hellblade. Some more people did some other stuff. And that's what they had to do in order to get as many projects going, to feed their families. So if they can get away with it, if the games are still quality, if it's like platinum and they're doing so many projects, it's hurting other games, that's one thing. But if they're able to maintain, I'm all for it, bro.
I agree with you as long as they're able to successfully complete the games. I think I would prefer your primary team that makes, the foundation of your studios. Like, for instance, Obsidian, I would say their foundation's RPGs. You got the primary studio making that game, which would be the Vow currently.
Right.
And then you have the secondary studio making something unique or making a smaller project, or they split the studio in literally half and have one team working on a big project and the other team working on a big project.
Yeah.
I think Obsidian has earned the right to have that freedom. Because if you think about it, they're making the Outer Worlds, they're making Avowed. They just got that. They just got the Pendament out, so they're pretty stretched too. And Ninja Theory, they're working on like 2 or 3 games.
Yep. I think Double Fine. Well, I don't know if they're working on 2 or 3 games, but in the past they have, but now they're under Microsoft, so I'm expecting them to have an announcement probably next year, hopefully, because Psychonaut 2 came out in 2021, so hopefully they'll have an announcement soon for their next game.
And I think that's where I stand right now. It's like I would prefer 2 teams working on 2 big games. Sure, you can have a big team working on a big game and 2 teams working on smaller games, but I think like logistic wise, it makes more sense for Game Pass to constantly having these, crazy experiences going into Game Pass. But you need the smaller titles, and I feel like you have plenty of studios that can handle those smaller titles. Like every studio that Microsoft currently owns, don't expect a AAA product from. Double Fine, huh?
No, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Double Fine's going to make high quality AA games. I think Compulsion to a point is going to make that mixture between AA and AAA. I think Hellblade, you'll get AAA in terms of like Hellblade, but I don't think Ninja Theory is going to be giving you like multiple. I think they'll be one of the studios that like, look, you're going to work on Hellblade 2 and then maybe a smaller title.
I can see that. What do you think Project Mars is going to be? You think it's going to be a smaller title?
I don't know. The way things are going, and as long as it's coming out, I wouldn't be surprised if they convert that to a VR title.
Oh, really?
I doubt it. It could not happen, but it's just been a minute. We haven't heard anything about that game. You know what I'm saying?
I think they announced it. Was it 2019? I think it was
before
COVID. It was 2019. Yeah, that was. Damn, I just thought about that because it was definitely before COVID. Wow.
So I think right now, say said, but Xbox don't got a VR. Yeah, but they're on PC too. There's a lot of PC stuff on there. I don't know what they're doing. That's probably speaking really out of term because it definitely could not happen. But to me, when I saw the way that they were promoting that game, it kind of felt like something that would belong in VR.
Yeah, possibly, but like you said, that was in 2019. VR hasn't really exploded, so maybe not. I don't know, maybe not.
Nine
But yeah,
Lives, good point. I was going to bring that up. A lot of people are sleeping on Exile Gaming. The people that
yeah,
make Wasteland. I think you're going to see Bethesda and you're going to see Obsidian quality RPGs from them.
absolutely. And Ali, let me say something. I remember I was talking to Tim Dog, and Tim Dog was saying he heard that Compulsion, yes, before they made smaller games, but now they want to be a AAA team also. Now Tim told us this a couple years ago. He said he heard they wanted to be a AAA team, and the game they're making is supposed to be, like you mentioned, maybe a high quality AA. But he said he think that it's going to be a AAA.
I
With
think
Microsoft behind them, and they got some people. So I don't know. Uh, like maybe you know more than me.
yeah, it's there's some truth behind that. There's some
Oh,
truth
okay.
behind that. All right, so let's move on, man. We got 32 minutes and we talking about EA canceling a single player game that's
Mm.
taken place in the Titanfall universe. Have you heard about this?
I read it right before the show, bro.
I'm so disappointed with them on that. I
Yeah.
feel like like they've built all these characters up from Apex.
Mm.
They'd be stupid not to make a game that has like one or two of them in it.
Yeah.
Have you play as a main character, one of them. It could be third person because they've shown they can do both.
Yeah.
And I think it would be cool to like put those together. You can even make a game that's just how the arena started. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
how all that started, or you could do a lot of things with that game, and it's just disappointing. Like you get all this positive feedback from EA, and you think they're in the right direction, and then they just throw it off. Nope, we're not. We're not in the right
Mm-hmm.
direction. We're actually in the wrong direction, but we're gonna keep going, man. This I think there was probably a reason that they canceled this. I don't think it was anything like serious or bad towards the actual respawn. It was probably like just like, look, like you guys are working on too much stuff. Maybe we need to pull back on that. I'm just at this point. It's just like I think that a Titanfall single player game would have did very well, and I'm very disappointed in EA for not at least letting us get one single player game from the Titanfall universe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But like you said, we just don't know the reason they pulled it, the reason they canceled it. Nowadays, maybe there's so many games that was canceled that we don't know about. I believe this is just how it is nowadays. Was it, like you said, like where they wearing themselves too thin? They had too many games in development. Was the game too much of a gamble because Titanfall 2 didn't do well? Will a single player Titanfall not do well? So I think all of those things kind of came into play. And obviously we don't know exactly what happened, but I can see any of those things being a reason. Budget, would a budget be too much for a Titanfall game? Would it be too much where they, like, was it too ambitious? And they didn't want to, do it because of the budget. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking there's going to be, unfortunately, Addict, I hate to say it, man, there's going to be less huge AAA big budget single player games in the future, unless it's something you can bet on, like a Spider-Man, like Star Wars or Hogwarts. So I mean, there's going to be some, but the further this generation goes, there's going to be less of them. I hate to say that, but I believe that.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, people don't play these single player games like people think. Like people
Absolutely.
think that there's millions that just go straight to these type of games. Not really. You know,
Facts.
PlayStation makes the better ones, and they have a few that do really well. But even PlayStation don't hit all these out of the park. You saw
Mm-hmm.
Days Gone. There is games that they make. Horizon to some degree, because I know it kind of dropped off really fast. And these type of games are very risky to make. And the funny
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I remember when people was complaining about what Phil Spencer said about them. they're trying to act like he said that they're irrelevant. He said no. He said the landscaping of games and the way games are going, these games are going to be less effective 2 or 3 years down the line. He wasn't saying that they weren't relevant. If they weren't relevant, he never would have greenlit the single player for Halo. Would have went just straight for the multiplayer. And I think that we still need to work on these games, and these games still need to come out. But I do think that sometimes these studios and developers and publishers have way too high expectations on how these games are going to sell. Who knows? Maybe if you would have put Days Gone as a $40 game, it would have sold better.
Yeah.
Lower entry. But, I feel like people will go in there expecting their game to I think it's worth $70. But you get games like Hi-Fi Rush outselling $70 games.
We're going to see more games like Hi-Fi Rush too, Addict. Watch.
Yeah, so it is what it is when it comes to that. I think they did say they did some slight layoffs. They're trying to move people around as much as possible so people don't lose their jobs in waves and stuff. But it's very disappointing, and it's disappointing because it's like could have been huge, could have been a big giant game. We could have seen characters from the Apex Legends that was really built on. But instead, EA has decided, we're just going to keep funneling more money into other stuff. And I get it. You got to go where the money is. But sometimes I look at like Marvel and DC. Marvel built up a world that they could sell little things of content of Marvel in the future off of the back of the universe in the past. So they took years of taking L's over and over again so they can get to the point where they could throw out a TV show that no one knows about on Disney Plus, but they know it's in the Marvel universe and it has millions of people watching it. And people don't like the sequel stuff, and I get it. My question to you is, do you think that the way Marvel builds universes maybe should have a little bit more focus and do something like that in games? Because I know they're talking about Insomniac doing that with Marvel, but it's just like it kind of crazy. There are sequels, but I don't think there's usually 2-3 sequels tops. Sometimes it goes above that. There's exceptions, obviously. But I think that building universes is a better way of doing expansions than consistently making the same characters in the universe. Like, for instance, Sony could have bought Tomb Raider, and they could have made a Tomb Raider game, and then what they could have done is cross promote Tomb Raider and Uncharted, where they're in the same universe, and you're just slowly building this world up. Another thing I would suggest, Banjo-Kazooie. If you don't feel comfortable with bringing just a Banjo-Kazooie back, find a way, since it's a make-believe world, find a way to mix Banjo-Kazooie with Crash Bandicoot. Do a lot more cross-progression, and that way when you start putting these two games together, these three franchises together, when you start doing other stuff and they know it's going to be part of that centered universe, they're going to play it just because they got to keep up with the story currently.
Yeah, as long as the initial game is a huge success, I can see that. I mean, because we've seen franchises have spinoffs and nobody cared about the spinoff. Like remember Shadow the Hedgehog, nobody cared.
But I think those are like out of the
spinoffs out of the universe.
Yeah, they're out of the box thinking. They're not.
Okay.
They're not building a universe. They're just building an IP in a franchise.
I got you.
To me, like the Tomb Raider, you make a Tomb Raider game, you make an Uncharted game, and then the third game is those two individual characters coming together on their own epic adventure. Maybe you put a third or fourth one in there. You got Indiana Jones. Maybe you buy that IP and he's the person that's mentoring them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like with gaming, when we compare gaming to movies, which is something I actually do often also, movies take I know the pre-production takes a while, but the movie take like 3 months to film. Gaming at this point is just like years, unless you make smaller games. So I do understand what you're saying, but I don't know, man. It really depends on the franchise,
What
you know.
it actually would work better in games than would in movies, because when you have characters like, Robert Downey Jr., like, I don't want to play Iron Man anymore. Sure, you can have
Yeah, yeah,
voice actors do that, but you could just
yeah.
replace them with someone that sounds similar. Now, sure, is it going to be the same performance? And you might notice, yes, but I do think that it's easier to continue a universe that's uninterrupted, because sometimes they have to rewrite these whole story arcs when these people, God forbid, some of them pass away. Some of them don't want to play in the games and the show movies anymore. Some have conflict of interest, so they have to pull out. So they have to rewrite their story, find out what they're doing with it. Someone
Yeah,
like, Chad, he passed away playing Black Panther, and that was a huge character.
yeah,
So it wasn't
yeah.
easy for them to figure out, okay, we have to write his character out for the time being. And on top of that, anything he was involved in the future, we have to find another way of using him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but like I said, what franchise could do that though?
There's not a lot, but I do think there's enough that would make sense. And even if you don't combine franchises like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, you could start making own spin-off games that you come out up front from the start, that this is telling a story with all of them together and not just one. We've seen Nathan Drake through 4 adventures.
Right.
If they would have started building up another platform, it would have been interesting to see Nathan Drake with another personality in there that could have really went at people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just like a little bit of food for thought, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. You got a member chat. I don't know if you said. Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read it for me real quick if you don't mind.
Don Nataku, member for 17 months. Bask in your glory while you can, Dirt. When the Nintendo Direct drops this month and we get that Zelda gameplay reveal, it's a wrap. Count your days. Come on, Don Nataku, man. Listen, bro. Listen, Nintendo, they're legends in this game. But whenever that Zelda gameplay drop, Addict is going to be fully invested in watching that gameplay. He's not going to be able to wait. Me, this is what I'm going to do when that Zelda gameplay drop.
Yeah,
I'm joking, I'm joking.
I'm excited for Zelda, just because I want to play the next Zelda in the franchise. But at the same time, I was disappointed with a lot of key aspects that happened in the original one. And that's my mindset. It's like, they changed a lot of the core foundation of Zelda, and I just don't want them to continue that trend. I want to see Zelda the way I feel like Zelda should be. And sure, you guys might not see that, and some of you might argue with that mindset. But to me, that's just my opinion about the matter. And guys, I sent it to you on Twitter. I want the industry to do well. That's why I'm always on Xbox, because when Xbox does better, that means PlayStation can't, do what we could talk about real quick is, do what they're doing, where they're just canceling the PlayStation collection stuff or whatever that is for no reason. And what's funny is, Saul brought up in the ILP chat, he's like, what's crazy is like a lot of those games was first party titles that they didn't have to take out. They didn't want to.
Yeah.
So it's just like, we need that competition to encourage people to do stuff. We need that competition so we can get better games in the future. We need that competition so we can get better opportunities as a consumer in the future. And when I see people say they want Switch to go away, or say they want Xbox to go away, or say they want PlayStation to go away, it's like, I don't think you truly care about that.
Yep, I agree. I don't want any of them to go away. I'm not a fan of Nintendo, but I do not want Nintendo to go away. I do not want PlayStation to go away, and of course, I don't want Xbox to go away. I do want Eric the Beard to go away, though, in the chat.
Oh my god,
he's just coming here just talking trash, man.
You and him have this epic fight going on.
Eric Beard
All
can go
right, so
away.
Gaz is here. He says he's feeling a little bit better. So let me fix his. All
Oh
right,
damn,
can you hear me,
you
guys?
sound like Darth Vader, man.
What's up, dude? What's
What
up?
up?
All right,
Good.
let me change it again.
I don't want
Sometimes like I have to turn it off and on. Can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. So what's going on, guys? Is there a point of the conversation that really got your attention that you wanted to come in and talk about?
I just don't want to let you down, man, by saying yes, I could do it, and then not do it. I was doing the Halo video, and every time I said a line, I started coughing, but it started to get better. I just coughed phlegm out a few times. I'm here for you, boys. I'm here for dirt. Just here to chat. So yeah, man. No, just carry on, man. I'll jump in whenever.
Yeah,
you
so
want me
pretty
to.
much what we was talking is, Titanfall, that single player universe that has gotten canceled, and it kind of like rifted into if they're doing like if the MCU's universe and the way they've built up those movies to be the Avengers, if that could be done in video games.
Thing is, I only a few days ago, a couple of days ago or yesterday, I was just like, they need to make Titanfall 3. It's such a good IP. It was so ahead of its time. I think still to this day, it's ahead of its time. Like Sony, the next big first-person shooter is going to be one that plays like Titanfall because it focuses on traversal. Titanfall 2 did something that a lot of people didn't expect, but they were asking with Titanfall 1, which surprised me, which was deliver an incredible single-player game. I still think Titanfall 1 was criminally overlooked. Despite it did well. In fact, Titanfall 1 did better than Titanfall 2, despite the fact that it was only on Xbox. And remember when I remember I was there at the time, man, front row of the console wars, and PlayStation guys were like, this would sell way better if it was on PlayStation. But Titanfall 2, it did release between Battlefield and the COD, but PlayStation didn't save it.
Yeah,
it didn't save it. PlayStation didn't save it. Whereas Xbox and its marketing at the time, I remember that I was doing an interview with Abby Happy, that Titanfall got all of Microsoft's push behind it. First person shooters, man, they belong to Xbox, man. That's the natural home. It's the spirit and DNA of it. But the single player going away, it's bad. I just think they need to do a Titanfall 3. I'm really kind of sad about that. I don't know, man. Single player, the story of BT was amazing. Like this was this mech robot that I've cared more about than most human, characters in stories. So I was just like kind of sad when I saw the story on Reddit that Titanfall 3, they just completely axed it. And we're hearing in the background a lot of that kind of stuff. So I hope Respawn are one of the top tier talents out there. I don't know why they've cancelled it. If it was an EA mandate, that's bad. But maybe it's something internally. Respawn thought they couldn't. They were juggling, because at one point they were juggling loads of things. They're juggling Star Wars, and they'll do a lot with that. And I don't know what the other projects are, but I hope it's not an EA mandate. I hope Respawn then thought, we can't do this right, or the quality concerns weren't there. That's why we scrapped it.
And then you got to think
Vincent Pella's like that.
Apex Legends probably takes 88% of their studio to make.
Yeah.
Really? 88%?
No, I said it probably takes an absurd amount of their studio to make.
Oh, okay, man.
Yeah.
Vincent Pella, isn't he overseeing Battlefield now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly. And without Vince, Vincent Pella is a visionary. He came out from Infinity Ward and made this team.
Yeah.
And it was Vincent Pella, and what was the other guy? Zampella and something West, I think. They were really, this is the importance of leaders in these teams. This is why I'm gonna beat a dead horse, but Bonnie Ross being gone, I'm very excited now about Halo. People will be surprised. But I think that get the right leadership in there, you can deliver madness. And Respawn, if Vincent Pella is directing his attention to Battlefield, that means, and you can quote me on it, the next Battlefield will be amazing.
It'll probably be dope.
It'll be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
And you
this
know
guy
what
who made COD, Modern
Yeah.
Warfare, what it is,
And
playing
you know what else?
Battlefield.
Vince Zampella, he got pulled at EA. I don't know. Is he the boss yet? Because where would EA be the Xbox One, PS4 generation if it wasn't for Respawn, bro?
Yeah. And I
Where
think
would- 'cause
Apex
they didn't
Legends.
have a great generation. That
I
right.
think
Apex Legends. yeah.
Apex Legends is one of the only competitors to Fortnite, like one of the only true competitors to Fortnite. And the fact that you can realistically call yourself a competitor to Fortnite and not ever have everyone in the room laugh means it's a competitor to Fortnite.
Yeah, man.
Might
I
not be
remember
the best
they
competitor,
stumped
but
that
it's
game,
definitely
remember?
one of them. Like,
Yeah.
They
It's an
stumped
incredible game.
Yeah.
They shadow dropped that.
Yeah.
That
Shadow Drop.
it shocked the hell out of me. It's one of the games I fell in love with. Like, mechanically, the game is so good. Like, how did you shadow drop this? Like, how did you make this game? Even day one, like, forget the content stuff. Mechanically, it's so good. It's still so good. I refuse to play it now because I'll be addicted to it. That's why I play single player games now, mostly because that game is so good. And that's the vision of that team. If they worked on Halo, oh my God, I would jizz myself. That would be the ultimate dream.
they'd be one of the studios I'd trust with the Halo brand. I would trust them with the Halo brand. I feel like they would do a lot of unique changes that make sense. Like a lot of people say like ID or it. I can't remember who makes Doom, like the name of the company.
It's software, yeah.
It's software. I don't agree with that one. I get the concept behind what people say, but I do feel like Halo and Doom play drastically different, and I've never seen someone really cap Doom for its multiplayer. And to me, like if it's just single player, sure, but if we're talking about a studio taking over Halo as an entity, I don't know if they are up for that.
I think a lot of people conflate id Software and put that in the Halo conversation because of how good the engine is. Because Slipspace wasn't doing his job. Visually just became a meme, remember? And that's why people said, bring it. It scales well, it looks great, it has ray tracing, it runs smoothly. So that's why they brought it in. Remember, id Software revolutionized multiplayer. They delivered Quake 3 Arena long time ago. And since then, they've tried what? Asymmetrical multiplayer with the Doom games. They didn't work. Quake Champions, which I played, great game, but it's old school, needs to evolve. There's no guarantee that what Halo needs for single player, it needs I don't know where. This is the big question mark around it. Who's the creative director now at 343? Pierre Hintze is more of a technical guy. He's under stripes as far as bringing Master Chief Collection back.
I think
by technically making it work.
I think he's been like quoted that he's actually in charge over there now. I mean, we can get into that. That is a topic. The next thing I do want to talk about is this Undead Labs. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's actually rumored that not only are they working on on State of Decay 3, but it does look like there's a good chance that they're also working on a new IP or another title, and it's supposed to come out this year. So I would assume this is their passion project.
What?
Yes, it's 2023, didn't it?
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, that's what I saw. I mean, let me double check, but that's what I saw.
I thought it said 2024.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of these. If they're passion projects, like they rarely work, but they can. Pentiment work.
Next year, 2024. Yeah, you guys are right, 2024.
I want them to deliver the best State of Decay. And that game has massive scope.
Yeah.
From what if you followed State of Decay from day one, what they always said they had a vision for what State of Decay should have been. And technically, whatever, the old crap Jag core CPUs held them back, couldn't really deliver it. With State of Decay 3, this is what they really want to do. Just take everything they built, with community focus, with this massive multiplayer online world, and it's just like Walking Dead on speed. I really want them to work on that. But at the same time, if they want to work and have a passion project, they can work. Pentiment worked. Like, it's not may not be the kind of game we play, but critically, massive success.
the $5 super chat from Cowboy. Slipspace has issues, but it's a good engine. Destiny's Tiger engine is a fork of the Halo Blam engine, just like Slipspace engine is. You know that's kind of a unique way of thinking about it. Actually, like the Tiger engine and the Slipspace engine all came from the concept of the same engine.
Yeah. I mean, the Slipspace engine, I will say, the way it feels felt right. And there's a big question mark around whether Unreal Engine will replicate that feeling of the Halo feel. I also liked, whilst it visually was, in terms of raw visual fidelity, it was pretty meh, but the art style was great. It's a bit of a shame that you did all that work in R&D and then obviously forsaken it, which means the engine wasn't good enough to work on. It works because they worked hard to make it work, but because they relied on contractors, they had to get used to the engine. It just didn't work practically.
Yeah, so, I think it, logistically, it probably would have cost them more money to revision and optimize that engine the way they needed it to. Because I think that engine was probably built under different parameters on how they wanted Halo to function. And then by the time they realized how they wanted Halo to function, the engine was already built. And those type of steps are not cheap to go and restructure.
Yeah.
And let me say this. When it comes to Slipspace, like Gaz said, the game felt great. Halo Infinite, in my opinion, is still a solid game. Clearly, the Slipspace engine, the team at 343, clearly they're not a fan of the engine. They're not able to. It seems like the engine is giving them issues. If it wasn't, they wouldn't be switching engines, right? So if that was what was stumping the team, if the engine was the problem with them getting out more content, if they could see issues in the future potentially with the engine, hey man, they had to do what they had to do. So I mean, but people been wanting them to kind of reboot. They wanted them to change some things around, and it's happening. So I'm all for it. If the team thinks this is going to better Halo, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Undead Labs scenario, the question I have to you guys is, see something like Obsidian. I think we can all agree, and the general community agree, that they have earned the right for a passion project. You look at someone like Hi-Fi Rush. Sure, maybe Evil Within wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but it was still a good game to a lot of people, and I think that might have. But with all the issues that State of Decay had coming out the door, and all the hiccups that it had, and it took a long time for that game to fully get where it needs to be, do you think there's some studios that would you consider would have to earn the right to have a second team working on something, or do you think it's like, look, like, the last game was kind of like choppy. You need to show me a little bit something before I trust you on a second project.
Hey, can I say something right quick, guys, before you go?
Go for it.
I think Xbox, some of the one of the reasons a lot of these teams sign with Xbox is because Xbox gave them carte blanche. They say, yo, you guys can do what you want to do. We know that Ninja Theory, they, if you watch that video when they first signed with Xbox, he wasn't really looking to get acquired. But they talked to Microsoft. Microsoft said, listen, you guys can make what you want to make with our resources. Cool. Bleeding Edge didn't really turn out great for them, but they were still able to they're making some games that they want to make. So I think if Xbox, if like, I don't know, State of Decay or Undead Labs say, yo, Xbox, we want to make a passion project as well as State of Decay 3. I don't think that would be wrong for Xbox to say, hell no, you can't make a passion project. It's focused on State of Decay 3. If their pitch was, yo, we like, you guys can do what you want to do with our resources. So if that was the case, and I believe that was the case, because we heard Xbox tell a lot of studios, listen, man, you guys can do what you want to do. We're not going to make you do a certain type of game. Yeah, man. So if they're comfortable, they're doing State of Decay 3 and also doing something else, I think that's fine.
Yeah, so when you said, I agree with you, when the way you framed it, Addict, is like, have they earned the right? I would never say you are now allowed to work on your passion project, because
It's
that's
not
like,
about.
who are we?
I wasn't
I know
really
what you're saying. I
saying
know
it
what
in
you're
the
saying.
terms. I was
Yeah.
saying it's like, look,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you got
Is that
studios
wise?
like
Yeah, is it wise to do
like
that?
compulsion, not compulsion, coalition. It seems like everyone else getting to work on passion projects, but like 343 coalition. Even though how we feel about 343 and how they dropped the ball multiple times, can you look at that studio while everyone else is getting to go out to eat multiple times a week and say you eating chicken noodle soup? Like,
No, it's a trick. This is the tricky part of managing. You sometimes have to make the difficult calls, and it's a balance between saying you have carte blanche to do everything, and I think this is a bit of what Matt Booty was doing. They swallowed up so many studios. They struggled. Sorry.
yeah,
And
they expanded way too fast, and
they expanded really fast in a short space of time. So a lot of the problems we see with Xbox were inevitable. And ABK will add to that weight. I keep saying it. That's a ABK and the studios, Activision Blizzard, they are a mess. Internally, they are a mess. You're not telling Microsoft to fix that problem. Activision and Blizzard fans true Activision Blizzard fans are actually grateful, because or hopeful or grateful if Microsoft buy them, because Microsoft can fix them, get rid of the leadership, fix that up. But that's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. Microsoft has already shown that it can struggle. But the lessons it's learning now are great timing for when ABK does go through, which it will go through, but in some delayed period of time, but it will go through. As we found out today, Meta just slapped the FTC, which was always going to happen, in my opinion. You cannot scup a big business, but that's a different conversation. But in terms of balancing, you need a strong personality that says, all right, like 343 come up to imagine I'm the leader, I'm Matt Booty, and 343 come up to me and say, hey, look, we got this side project we really want to work on. And you're like, right, you've just taken on Halo, and we need to know what you're doing. You're working on Unreal Engine. You need to give us deliverables and an appreciable timeline, and then convince us, because it will be stupid for us to give you carte blanche in light of everything that's happened. Right now, we would say, stick to Halo, because you've got a lot more to chew on. If 343 came up with a side project, it would be stupid, unless the side project on paper had such tremendous value or you think promise. And those are leadership calls. Sony does it all the time. Sometimes they'll let some things slip, and that's the risk you have to take. But sometimes you have to have the balls to lead and say, okay. And with Xbox, it's obvious some studios and publishers are better poised already to deliver. Obsidian, they've already shown it. Double Fine, they're really well run. They've delivered a great game. Let's see what they do next. You have more confidence in Obsidian than you have in, say, Undead Labs. But, we heard about Undead Labs. They were like having internal issues as well within studios, and their own developers said they were disappointed at how hands-off Microsoft were in helping them when they had issues with leadership. There are clear examples there. Not every rule, the rule cannot apply to every studio. It's a dynamic. Every studio you have to take on its own merit. So we'll see. It's a very tough job, whoever at Microsoft, because can you imagine if it's like you're like guilty if you don't do anything, but someone will break the news and say, well, Microsoft is too controlling. Oh, here we go. Mm-hmm. It's like, how do you balance that? So it's always going to be difficult.
Hey, guys. Oh, I'm sorry, Addict. Let me say this real quick. Perfect example. When Bungie wanted to do Halo. I'm sorry. Destiny. Microsoft said, hell no. You're going to continue to do Halo. So Bungie said, okay, we're going to do Halo Reach and we're out of here.
Yep.
So that's that line. You said, now, do we want to give those guys freedom, or do we want to make them? So there's a balance that needs to be there, right?
Exactly.
And I think doing like a smaller game or doing some type of passion project will kind of help the morale of the studio, if you know what I mean.
So
if they desperately want it and it feels like it, so look, we really want to make this work, and you think, all right, we also believe in your vision, we'll let you do it. but you have to make a convincing case. We're not a charity. That's what Microsoft should be saying. Like, we have finite number of sources. Yeah, we're Microsoft, but explain to us, show us.
It's like we're Xbox, not Microsoft. We got a budget. Microsoft might not have a budget,
Exactly.
but we have a budget. I just think, to me, I want everyone to have passion projects, but I see the rhetoric on Twitter. I see people saying, you know, why does this studio get to do one, this studio doesn't? First off, we don't know what these studios are working on. For all we know, 343 and Coalition are both working on a passion project. We don't know. But at the same time, I can understand where people are coming from, where it's like, you know, some of these studios have dropped the ball in some way, shape, or form, and it's like maybe you should, you know, prove to the consumer base, prove to the gamers, prove to Microsoft and Xbox that, you know, you could ship one game that hits the notes that you thrive to hit before you start unlocking the doors to more funding for multiple games. So it's like guys said, that you end up getting to logistics on, are you going to lose talent because something that is so simple to let them do where you need stuff anyway? Are you going to lose talent because of that? And sometimes it's easier to give a studio a little bit more budget to make that smaller title than it is to potentially lose the best talent that's there, and then you're back at square one.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, look, you have to. It's just a balancing act, and we'll see. We'll see. I feel like Xbox and its management is getting better, and Tango Gameworks helps with that narrative because they killed it out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say too much. We're about to get into the Microsoft thing. You know, let's just go there now because I know guys always got bars for Halo. So all right, so we 7 minutes. There you go, timestamp police. You know, don't come after me. So, all right, guys, let's talk about Halo.
They got a couple like super chats if you want to get them before we get into.
Yeah, let me get those real quick. We got $10 super for y'all, baby Fava. Microsoft Game Studios has a great track record with passion projects, Grounded, Pentiment, and now Hi-Fi Rush. As long as studios have their A team on a main game, I welcome these. And I agree. Yeah. I agree with that too. But it's like I said, I do understand where people are coming from. They're like, look, some of these studios haven't proved they can make, you know, their main game out the hill. So, you know, maybe you should let them, you know, fine tune those issues before they make another game. You got another $5 super chat from Baby Fava. Can't work on passion projects if you're already having a hard time on what's already on your plate. So yeah, only certain studios should be able to. It's like I said, you know, it's like Gas said, that's a hard thing to maneuver around, especially 20 plus studios. You know, you got 20 plus heads that you got to maneuver around. You got teams within teams. You got heads within teams within teams. Like, nightmare, man, nightmare. But let's 8 minutes, man. We talked about that for a minute. So 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Here we're talking about Halo Infinite. You know, let me read this little update from Jason Schreier. Now, I'm going to let you guys talk mainly about this because I don't want to catch myself out of tone here. But Microsoft's 343 Industries will still make Halo games despite rumors to the contrary. But the mass layoffs, at least 95 people, an engine pivot to Unreal, and a focus only on multiplayer for the near future. 343 is hitting the reset button. New story. So it looks like they're going to pretty much relaunch Halo's story, probably rebrand it in some way, shape, or form. Who knows how they do that? But you know, I'm going to go to you guys because I feel like this is something that you've been very vocal about. You know, a lot of the management issues that's happened over there. You know, I will say this: what you guys hear, it's worse. But you know, we'll continue. And I want to know your opinion when you see that. You know, maybe some of these layoffs and maybe some of these people leaving. I will say there has been some people I've seen leave 343 that I know has been issues, like part of the management issues. So I will say that there's drastic restructuring going on there. But what do you feel, guys?
I'm working on a video on this now. I think pretty much most people, apart from like idiots from the PlayStation side who don't know about me, kept saying, "Oh, you didn't call out Halo." I'm like, bro, you know what you're talking about. I've been scathing of management, People had a go at me for celebrating when Bonnie Ross was stepped down, but I think she was let go. And not in a bad way, but to me, it's a good thing, because I find I'm shocked. It's not me trying to pat myself on the back, or say, look, I was right. But one question I kept asking, and no one was asking, and my review said this. My review said the community will want an aggressive roadmap for the single player content. And my review's written there, and it's like the success of this game is predicated on an aggressive content roadmap for the single player. And then nothing happened. Nothing happened. And now from Jason Schreier's article on Bloomberg, they didn't even have a roadmap. They were working on passion projects, toying around stuff with Unreal Engine for the story. And that, I didn't know it was that bad. That was really bad. That means you didn't even believe in your own 10-year vision, and you had contractors out there. It's management problem, because you had all these incredibly talented people, but management didn't actually commit to a vision. And sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, what I will say is, the way I see it and the way I've been told, people are right with the management. A lot of people like to try to blame this on overall. Now, it is Phil and Matt Booty's fault to a degree.
Vicariously.
Yeah, to a degree, because they are over those studios. But there's a couple people at 343 that, you know, they're solely to blame for the stuff that's going on. It's like a domino effect. You know, when you go into this and you know, the way it was described to me, there's a lot of, I don't know what to do with this. You know, there was a lot of work that was done that was just thrown out. There was a lot of wasted stuff that happened for 343. And I feel like when it comes to this, at this point, the fact that the people who made the Slip Space engine, they're up out of there. The fact that Bonnie Ross is up out of there. The fact they have a lot of the PR people that's been migrated to other people. The fact that they're, you know, potentially might outsource the single player. I know that 343 came out and said that they weren't doing that. I don't believe them. I think that's PR speak. I think they'd rather show you good content before they ask for permission to have someone else make the Halo game. So it's just like I'm at this point with Halo and 343. It's like, at this point, I don't even want to see you. Don't come out to play. Don't put anything in the window. Don't put that thing on the other side of the door where this says "Do not disturb," because you don't have to do that. I assure you, we're not coming in. We don't care what you're doing. You know, once you lose the gamer's, what's a good word? A gamer's perspective in our, not even our will. Like, once you lose the man, I just had it. Once, don't you guys hate when that happens? When you have a good word, I had it, man. It was good. But once you lose that aspect, and you know the goodwill, I'll say that too. It's almost impossible to get it back, and No Words is getting that back. They can come out there, they can say, they can have like that "I'm grateful for Christmas" 25-day thing, and it can literally, instead of being "Why you're grateful for Christmas," it could be apologizing to the Halo community for 25 days, and we're gonna say that's cute. Let me see something. I don't care. Yeah. Like,
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, the expectation for me for 343 in Halo was always high, because I believe that's the station it should inhabit. It's a flagship title, and it represents Xbox. And if this game that visually was lackluster became a joke, content-wise failed, and all this management happens, you're gonna feel a certain way, especially if you have high expectations for Halo. And I still believe Halo can school everyone, because there's so much scope in Halo. Just
real quick, guys. Someone said Halo Infinite was an 87 Metacritic. You guys are acting like they released a 60. It was an 87 on launch, but they released it and used the words games as a service, seasons multiple times. People expected content. That's the problem here.
if your 87 meta argument, I don't know who said that in chat, but if your argument stood still, we wouldn't be discussing this right now. There wouldn't be mass layoffs right now. There wouldn't be a management shift. You wouldn't have 343 members saying the management and leadership were wrong. You literally had the senior multiplayer director saying Halo should be in a better place than it is now. I blame the leadership. I'm sorry. That's Pierre Shaw. They're saying that, Pierre Shaw. Literally in your face. You've got every argument has crumbled away, and yet you're still defending what I believe is mediocrity in light of what Halo should have been. A 10-year plan. You sold us a 10-year plan. You ditched that plan. Didn't have a roadmap for that. It's bad. Stop excusing failure when the failure is staring at you in the face. It's there. It's admitted. It's done. Xbox have said it. Phil Spencer said it. Phil Spencer in that interview with IGN, what did he say about Halo? He said we fell short on what? Content and what's the word? Quality. Quality. He said quality. He said quality twice because they know it. They know it. If you're a Halo fan, what do you want? Halo should be the best looking game, the best playing game, the best supported game.
It's a flagship title for a reason.
Exactly. It made Xbox. It embarrassed everyone. All these Halo killers that came out, they just died. They had no chance. And Halo could still do it. But when Halo Infinite comes out with less features than its old games, including the first ever one, what do you say? And we still get made excuses. And I still believe, if you look at my reviews, very glowing, but I did say, need more you sold us this games as a service. You said Halo's good to be free to play. Show us.
You know what it reminds me of, guys?
What's that?
It's like Halo is like back in the day, Halo was this giant thing of armor. It was impossible. It was impenetrable. No one could do it. But there is this dagger, and the only thing that could penetrate their armor was their own weapon. And then they consistently would try to stab someone, but instead of attacking that game like they supposed to, the Halo killers, they would accidentally go too much and stab their own self in the chest. And after enough of those stabs, Halo is limping, man. They're not moving like they used to.
They didn't. And you know what, Addict? All this happens for a reason. I believe this is going to make Halo better. Now Pierre Hintze is here, and I don't know his credentials, other than we fixed the Master Chief Collection, which is a technical feat, which is great.
The way I've been described about that individual is the studios behind him, not the higher-ups, the actual people working on Halo.
And that's so important, because that wasn't the case before. And now I'm excited. And I have questions regarding Unreal Engine suitability for Halo, but if they believe in it, fine. But you know what? With Unreal Engine, at least I know the game is going to look sick. It's going to look nice.
Yeah.
Because Halo Infinite, even by its own demo of the Slip Space engine, didn't look that great. This is it now. They know they have this last chance. And that's what makes me excited. I just hope they have some creative vision there. The creatives, but new leadership, people rally behind what you just said, Addict. If the whole team is behind Pierre and all the leadership, then mate, if I was jaded, I would tell you. At this point, no one can doubt that I'm not hiding my feelings. If I thought this is bad news, I would say it. But I am genuinely excited. Bad news is we don't get to sample Master Chief's story for a few years because that's on the back burner now.
And the sad part, real quick, is that Atriox character had so much potential, man, from Halo Wars 2 to building up into Halo Infinite, and now it seems like they about to be like, Atriox who? What are you saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro,
let me say.
Sorry, I talked for a while. Sorry, Dustin.
Okay, so the way I feel that this was most likely pretty necessary because, things was happening. Like the thing that was telling to me was the person that said, like in the whole thing that Jason Schreier said that there were team members that was saying, yo, let's move to Unreal or they were coming up with concepts for a different engine. It just seems like the engine These guys didn't like the engine. The engine slip space was an issue. Okay, we moved past that part. And I'm just going to say this. Clearly, there was some issues with the engine, the leadership. Clearly, there were some issues. At this point, all I can do as a fan of Halo, as a fan of Master Chief, as a fan of Xbox, is like Addict said. Okay, we Pierre Hintz, this is his time to shine. We needed some changes. People wanted changes, right? Mm-hmm. So, like the thing that get me when people say we want changes, but when the unfortunate part about changes, when people lose their jobs, people are like, what? This is unfair. That comes with changes, right? They're making changes, needed changes that people have been asking for. I love Halo Infinite. I thought the game released pretty polished, but it was missing a lot of things. We know what it was missing, and afterwards, it was missing the content was coming out rather slow. So all I can say is that this is what people wanted. Pierre Hintz is running the studio. They're making some changes. They're changing engines, and we'll see what happens after this. That's all I can say.
We got a 30.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be positive, or you don't have to be positive. You can be skeptical, but I think this is. I mean, how many more changes? Like you mentioned, they've changed leadership. They're changing engines. I mean, I've never.
But now they're rebooting though. There seems to be rebooting, changing everything. Like, I mean, it's like you watch sports. You know, I'm a big NBA guy. You can trade a player here. You can trade a player there. You can get a new head coach. But I've seen teams that completely shut it down and built it from the ground up. And sometimes, unfortunately, it takes some years to get things back to where you want it. But it was necessary. You had to have some new faces in the management spot. So,
yeah, my thing with this is, let me read this member chat. I've been screaming from the Rooftops 31 member chat from Slow-Mo Backslaps. Have Machine Games make a new Halo focusing on the story campaign. Combine that campaign with the multiplayer.
We gotta stop that.
1047 Games, makers of Splitgate.
We gotta stop that though, Addict.
Why are you against that?
Give this studio Halo. Okay, Machine is doing Indiana Jones, and hopefully they'll do another Wolfenstein. So what are they supposed to stop making their games?
You know what that means though, Dirt? They're gonna be making Wolfenstein, Indiana Jones, and the Halo single player mode.
But then we just had a conversation about teams doing too much.
That's fine. Wolfenstein can go down a little bit. I don't even like that game. I'm perfectly okay with that.
No, Wolfenstein is fire to me.
But I like the atmosphere Wolfenstein gets, but I've never really been into like the story of like the Nazi stuff. I've never really been into stuff like that. But
I never liked the way they played mechanically. I understand other people like it. Yeah. I just didn't like it. It just felt too floaty for me. I tried it, and Colt told me to play, and I just couldn't get into it. But if other studios have Halo's lore is so vast, if resources and bless you, if there's other studios want to do that, then maybe let them explore. But I also like the fact that 343 have said no, or the new 343. We want to retain control of Halo. That means they believe in it. They want to control it, and Xbox believe in their vision. So I said, fine, go for it. I get it. Where a lot of people say that though.
But it's more like with me, it's more about those other teams are doing their own things. Like if there's a brand new team that want to come in and make a Halo game that has some great veteran developers, that's one thing. But just let's give it to Compulsion.
What happens if they're like, okay, we'll take some of the leads from Machine Games, some of the leads that's not doing anything different right now, and we'll let them work with 343.
That's something different, Addict.
Yeah, that's different.
Like taking some guys from Machine or taking some guys from Ed or whatever. That's different. But just to give it to the whole team, no, 343. No, you about to say?
No, I mean, I guess that you can. Why can't you give? Look, Halo can be tell multiple stories. People did like Agent Locke, but what happened to Blue Team? What happened to Agent Locke and his team? What happened? Nothing. Completely dead. There's so much lore in Halo.
I agree with
could
that.
tell a better story of Halo before Master Chief was even on the face of the Halo planet. Like I've talked about this. Precursors story is amazing. If someone has a vision for it, hard sci-fi, that kind of vibe, give it to a studio that wants to do it. If they want to do it, 343 oversee it, and they will play that overseeing role. Let them do it. If that's the case. If not, I'm not against the idea. But right now, I think 343 are going to be focused on delivering what did Phil Spencer say? That they've building up a plan, and they've got a plan for it now, and they've already bought the IP rights for Halo: The Endless. Remember, Halo 4 story is massively disconnected to Halo 5, which is massively disconnected to Halo Infinite. Halo 4, you had the whole Greg Bear was commissioned to. Do you know who Greg Bear? Rest in peace. He passed away last year. Incredible sci-fi author who delivered 3 great books, and it's not a small feat. And they built this lore. They delivered incredible story, in my opinion, in Halo 4. Really good story, but it didn't connect to Halo 5, which we know the story about. And then Halo 5 didn't connect to Halo Infinite because they took a shortcut and they rushed it. Now, Pierre Hintze and his team at 343 will need to reconcile the broken storytelling and deliver something great. They, I think, are committed to the Halo Endless thing, because that would be really weird. I cannot see them forsaking the Endless now. They will still commit to the Endless. I still think they'll commit to Zeta Halo. The story will carry on from there. There's too much there, too much lore. You've shown offensive bias in the end of the trailer. You've built the hype up for it. That's fine. So it'll carry on like that. It will carry on from there. But let's see what. That's my. It would be crazy for them not to do that. If they completely redid it, that would be shocking to me. It'll carry on with the Halo Endless, and I think that will be the next title. It will be named. They've already got the IP. It will carry on from there. So let's see what they do. I am positive. I've got a video coming out on it explaining why I'm excited about Unreal Engine. Have some concerns about the feel, latency. Well, not latency. Zorka was talking about latency with me, but just feel of Halo. But if they can smash it, I'm sure they can. Depends on the team. But this team is going to feel the pressure more than anyone, and that's the kind of environment I like, because they're going to give it their all. And Pierre's proven it. With Master Chief Collection, he fixed the crap out of something people thought was almost impossible to fix. That's a technical feat. Let's see where they go. I am generally optimistic. Just means it's going to take some time. Let's see. By then, God knows if I'm alive by the time they release this sequel. But
so what was you going to say, Dirt?
Well, just one last thing before you read the super chats. What I'm trying to say with giving Halo to another studio, what I'm trying to say is, if that other studio is doing their thing, I don't want any resources taken from another game. Like people say, go with the id Software. I'm pretty sure id is making a game right now. Give it to Coalition, give it to Machine. They're all making games. Now, if you're going to this, like I said, if there's a studio that happened not to be doing anything right now or something, if you want to take some people from that studio, that's fine. But I just don't like just to give it to them. Okay, perfect example. I remember Tomb Raider, right? Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out. Crystal Dynamics couldn't do it because they were doing Avengers. So they gave it to Eidos Montreal. But the thing was, Eidos Montreal wasn't doing anything. Hey, yo, you guys do this but we'll oversee it. While we're making Avengers, we'll oversee it. Now, if that's the case, that's one thing. But if we'll pause Doom, like the next Doom, and do a Halo, I don't want that. I want those games. Now, if the team is big enough, they can break it into pieces. That's fine. But I just don't like this. Give it to them. I think 343 needs to fix it.
I feel you, and I do. I always tell people, Halo is a brand of single player and multiplayer, one of the few that it actually matters to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to be easy to replace that. Now, if you split them and have one person do that and 343 work on the multiplayer, that's one thing that might be doable. But you know, the way that they always talk about making Halo Infinite's multiplayer, I don't realistically think you could have did that while simultaneously making single player. You know, you look at Epic with Fortnite. A lot of Respawn works on Apex Legends.
Mhm.
These massive games as a service, Bungie all making Destiny, they take the majority of the studio. And when you could see when studios start letting the gas off, you see it with Destiny now because they're making that other Project Matter game. So it takes the majority of a studio to make these type of games. And I think, splitting the studio up in that might be one of the issue. But, was you going to say something, guys?
I was going to say, Slow-Mo's point isn't just, he's like, don't put words in my mouth. But I kind of get what he's saying in that if Machine Games have an appetite for it, they pitch it to 343 and Xbox. Hey, by the way, we could deliver a good side piece story on Haloverse, like ODST type something. Then why not?
Would you guys be okay if, other studios, instead of making the core Halo studio, they're like, yo, let me make a spinoff. Let me make a third person spinoff.
I'd be okay with that, absolutely. Now, if the studio wants to do it, a studio wants to do it,
but who would not want to work on Halo, though? Let's be realistic. Who would not want to work on Halo?
See, this is where the good leadership comes in. Now, because you need to make an assessment here. Are this studio, whoever the studio is, comes up to you and say, are they chasing the money because they know they got pretty much surefire hit here? Or let me assess, okay, what's your vision? What do you want to do? A side piece on what? Show us. What do you intend to do? And that's a leadership call. And if you don't, and then you have to balance it with 343 and Pierre. What you don't want to do is like, hey, Pierre, we talked to things. And Pierre's like, why did you talk to them about this? So Pierre needs to be in those conversations day one. He needs to be sitting there at the table with them and say, Pierre, look, Machine Games have come out to us and said they want to deliver. They've got a really good idea for, I don't know, Forerunner Saga story. Maybe you could work that in with your game because we know your story is focusing on, say, for instance, bringing back the Didag, because they're actually two Didags. Okay, let's have this is a leadership challenge here. Involve Pierre now. Trust in him as well. Machine Games sit down and they say, we have a good vision for it. Convince us. Great. Side story enhances the universe. The biggest problem with Halo is its lore is so good the games don't do it justice. When they made the TV show, which I haven't seen it, because it bastardizes everything Halo with Master Cheeks, show Halo's face, having sex with Cortana. What the hell is this shit, man? And then you see the stupid Last of Us and Pony's capping for The Last of Us because they're wanking off because it's doing well. And I'm frustrated. I'm like, I want Halo to be that game, that series, because I know it can crap on Star Wars. It's that good. But if you can tell stories like that, that would be great. So yeah, like it depends. It depends on a lot of things. Just bear with me, gents. 1 sec.
All right, so I feel you. I feel you. I think at this point we're just gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see a lot of pushback when it comes to Halo. That's why I'm at this point where I'm like, just don't talk. Just go into hiding. Don't say nothing until something's ready to be shown. And I guess that's where I'm personally at right now. But let's talk about this massive stuff that happened real quick. It's our last topic. 34 minutes for the timestamp mafia. Dirt.
Yeah.
Dirt. It looks like the last nails might have been put in the coffin of E3, man. Looks like it might be done.
Yeah.
Done. Destroyed. It wasn't killed, it was butchered, or however they put it, man.
Yeah,
however they put it. So what'd you think about that, Dirt, when you saw that, man? First off, do you think it's true? And second off, what do you think this means for E3 if all the big players don't show up?
Well, first off, to answer the second question, if the big three is not there now, we know Sony pulled out a few years ago. Nintendo, they might have their little, what they call them, treehouse or something there. Xbox was the one that was still around. So it was slowly dying anyway. And then COVID hit and it was officially done. But then we got kind of hype last year. Yo, E3 is coming back, in-person shows. Oh, yeah, right, let's go. But the thing is, if Xbox is going to have their own show, Nintendo has their own show. They have directs throughout the year. PlayStation has state of plays. They're probably going to have a showcase this year. You know, now Xbox have these Xbox developer directs. It's like at the point with today's technology where you see the video game awards, their numbers, and it's almost like they don't need E3 anymore. Like, you know, it's unfortunate. Now, me as a guy that used to love E3, I still watch some of these old E3s. I just watch them, bro. Just love them. It's just a different time. So I'm not gonna say it hurts me because they're still gonna have shows, just not at E3. Xbox still seems to be doing their show during that E3 week or maybe before the E3 week. So it really doesn't matter at this point. Yes, I used to love the week of gaming news. I used to love it. You know, it was on Spike TV here in the States. I used to love it. G4. But now it's kind of like, okay, they don't have to do it that way anymore. You know, these companies got their own strategy. And as long as they have shows, Xbox has confirmed, Phil Spencer himself confirmed that they already know what they're going to show this year. As long as they continue to have shows, I'm fine. But E3, it's gone, man.
Yeah. So, what's your thought on that? Let me get these super chats real quick, guys. Yeah. Got a 108, $5 super chat from 108 Dragon TV. Shout out to the awesome panel, guys, Addict. But I have to say, Dirt is the realest Xbox supporter. He's even glowing green on camera. Super Saiyan Dirt.
Oh, damn, yeah.
Man, green. Your name is Super Saiyan Dirt. We got a $5 super chat from Alvin. What's up, Addict, Dirt, and guys? You see the new Atomic Heart gameplay trailer today? Looking above and beyond.
Looks good.
I thought it was going to be like, they keep showing vertical slices. I think, you know, they're selling games that look like, you remember, what's that other game early on, Bright Memory Infinite? And it was like, oh, it looks really good.
Didn't that game come out? No one said nothing.
Hold on, let me say this. The demo was terrible, right?
Yeah.
But when they actually dropped the game, I bought it. It was actually pretty good, man.
I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the full game.
Yeah, it was so much better than, it's really short. It's like 3 hours long.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the demo, I was like, damn, this is actually pretty good. Because like I said, the demo was terrible, but the actual game is actually pretty good. But it's only about 3 hours long. I think it's only like $20 or something. It's actually pretty good.
Okay, I might try that.
Then we got a $2 super chat from Dead Planets. Could Starfield have planets that reference other games? That would be cool. I would probably, they're famous for that, so I would definitely see that. So, guys, man, you know, tell me what's your thoughts on E3. What's going on in Gaz?
When I go there, and I can still stroke your beard, that's all good. You're there. It makes no difference to us other than maybe getting, like, what's the difference? Microsoft is still there on the Sunday. We're still gonna get.
Apparently, it's been rumored that Nintendo is going to be there too. So, but they're just not going to be on the actual show floor.
Exactly, and it's just like, okay, it kind of just shows that the attention is moving to these directs. Look at the Xbox Bethesda Developer Direct was really good, and you know that kind of signals that, you know, those big events aren't the place to be. You can control the narrative. You don't have to worry about tactical positioning. You know, Microsoft was always first. Sony came second. And they could do loads of things, including by the start of a console generation, price changes, last minute, they'll have parameters. Yeah. Big problems there. Now they've taken control back. E3, it's sad. It's sad. The big news is Microsoft is not going to be there. But it's still there on the Sunday event. So as long as that kind of stuff is there, because I think it'll be really kind of... I've never been to E3, but the hype for me being there to meet you guys there is the thing that makes it. And just seeing people in person get hyped about it. To lose that, it's kind of sad. And I don't want to lose that. Bloody Lemon bought like a $2,000 camera lens for E3, man. Like, they let the guy make some videos, man.
Lemon got cake, man.
You could get cake.
I think.
Yeah, man.
I think finish what you're saying, guys.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it remains to be seen. But I think as long as the shows take place around that event, because that's like our Christmas for us. That if that doesn't go away, then I'm happy. But it does sound like you say, the death of E3 as we used to know it.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Oh man, you remember some of those memories? Oh, you want me to get the super chat?
Yeah, get that super chat. He talking about you in that super chat.
Yeah, man. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark Malkin. Come on, show some damn respect, sir. Dirt ray tracing. I'm sorry, Mark Malkin with the 5. Dirt ray tracing better than turn. Come on, man. Show
Just
some damn
that, man.
respect. Come on, Mark. Listen, man. I expect that on my channel, but we're on Iron Lord's channel, sir.
Man, we on the Addict show. The messiness is approved.
Yeah, man. We're on the Addict show. Come on, man.
So okay. I think
Come
this
on,
is.
Hey, come on, Gas. Man, don't laugh at that, man. Come on.
What you mean, bro? You were laughing at me when they were making fun of me on your show for ages. I heard you and Shaun cracking up. To be honest, I find it funny as well. But
so, first off, we got 285 people in the chat, man. Hit that like button. I know you guys are sitting there. I know it's hard to hit that like button. I know it's so far away from the screen. I know, especially if you're on your phone, that just tap. I know that's hard to do. Might break your thumb. Don't sue me for any types of medical bills, man. I ain't paying them. Having a hard time turning on my heat. What makes you think I'm gonna pay your thumb bill? But E3. I do feel like this is concerning a little bit. Now, it's the first year back out of the pandemic, really. Mm-hmm. So there's a good chance that this is going to happen regardless if it was the ESA. Because the ESA are working together with the people who make packs to bring this up here now. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that E3 is still going to be around in one way, shape, or form. It depends how the year does. And as much as I respect Jeff Keighley, I don't like his event. I just don't. Like the summer game show. Like I want my appetite in 3 or 4 days. All right. I don't want my appetite in 3 months. It takes forever. Now the content creation part of me loves the 3 months because it gives me content for 3 months out of the year. But the gamer in me is like, nah, that ain't it. Yeah, give me my stuff now. I ain't waiting. I want. Yeah. Remember that year we had to wait till like the end of July for the E3, for the Xbox show. The Xbox show.
Let's not talk about that.
When COVID first hit,
yeah, we had to wait to the end of July. That sucked. Like that really. We're used to having that nice little steak in June, and we had to wait till July. Sure, it's a month, and it was at the end of July, but it felt forever.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize when it comes to E3. Sony hasn't been to E3 in years, but they're upstairs in meetings. They're still there. They're just not paying money to do business there. They're just still using renting out, stuff upstairs, renting out rooms. They're still doing their business transactions. Like a lot of people just see what's on the outskirts. They don't see what actually goes on in those rooms upstairs. Like the good thing about E3. Especially Gamescom, these big shows, especially E3 and Gamescom, more E3 because it's a lot of the North America content creators, and there's a lot of them, that's one of the few times a year where you can easily do business because a lot of people are in the same area. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people realize as long as that exists and as long as it's easier to just set up a showing with 10 to 15 influencers or streamers or media than it is to fly all 10, 15 of those out to your establishment to show them there. People are going to do what they can to keep this alive. Sure, this year they might not be there, but what I will say is my influencer friends and my streamer friends, you better apply this year because I'm going to tell you, even if you don't go, you better apply, man. Give that nice I can't go email because once you show that you got approved once, it's a lot easier to get approved again. And let's say you want to go next year. Xbox comes back. They are able to work relationships to get Nintendo and Xbox back, maybe even PlayStation. Then we're going to be talking different. Now, I don't know if that will ever happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to get that communication back, to get them people back on the show floor. And it's disappointing, man, because this is one of the first times where I've seen where E3 might not make it. And, it's like Gaz said, it's like our Christmas, man, for years.
Yeah.
Every year I'm looking forward to E3. Every year that May month goes by so slow because I know E3's right around the corner.
Oh, my God. I started taking days off. Like, I started taking, when Xbox changed their days to Sunday, obviously I don't have to take that day off, but I was taking Mondays and Tuesdays off, bro. Because I had to sit back. Now, this before I was doing content. I always had to sit back and just watch the shows, man.
I hardly take annual leave. I actually had like 21 days I had to carry over for this year. But the only days I took off was for those shows. So sad. But yeah, I love that.
With gamers, bro. That's what we love to do. And so Addy, I am going to miss E3 because, like I said, I watch.
Are you coming?
E3s often. Probably not. No.
Come on, man.
Man, you should try to make it. This might be the last E3, fam.
Bring Ray.
They've already paid the money. They can't cancel at this point, I would think.
Well, I got a big Disney World trip this year, so it's like,
fair enough.
And Vegas too, so it's kind of like,
I'm hoping with some luck, because we're going to PAX East in March. I think it's in March. I'm hoping Starfield's going to be there. I'm hoping by then. I'm hoping Starfield.
Yeah, it probably will be.
I know Redfall will most likely be there, but I'm hoping Starfield will be there.
Yeah,
Redfall will definitely be there.
Yeah, E3s, man. I miss. Man,
it's going to be disappointing if it goes. It really is. Like, I know a lot of people ain't really cared since Sony left it, but it's like you don't care, but you watch every conference. So you care. It's just you're mad because Sony's not there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Addict, as a bot, I got to be honest. It hasn't been the same since Sony left.
It hasn't.
Yeah, it hasn't been.
You need all three to play. It's true.
Yeah,
like once one of the pieces goes, we're still gamers at the end of the day, and the competition is also always good. It's always good to see who did better, and as well, like the fun of that. So yeah, it does suck.
And then plus you look at the standpoint just strictly, it's like it's for your fans, man. Like even though Nintendo wasn't there as a press conference for all those years, they made sure to show up in an actual floor. Like they were there for their fans. One year it was literally, I think it was Breath of the Wild. I remember it might have been Mario Odyssey. I can't remember. It might have been Odyssey, but yeah, it was Odyssey. Literally, when you walked in, they rented half of that place. And it was all one game.
Damn.
And they could easily say, we're not going. We only got one game. But they're like, no, our fans are going to this and we're going to show up. And I got to respect them for that, man. I got to, because, Sony and Xbox to some degree, in some ways, sometimes, they're like, we ain't showing up. Like last year, PlayStation didn't even have really their own little conference.
Showcase. And Addict, bro, I'm glad you said that, because you know what I actually respect? During those years, 2017, 2018, 2019, where Xbox literally didn't have any damn thing in development besides Halo, Gears, and Forza, they still was able to
I was just about to say that.
E3, even though 2017 E3 was okay, 2018 E3 was great, 2019 E3 was in, but they still were able to have put on E3 shows for us, right? Now, I would say that's great, because back then, like I always say on my channel in 2017, bro, not only did they not have games, they didn't have a roadmap, so now they have a roadmap, but they always put on a show.
That's why it never makes sense to me when you could criticize. I don't mind criticize. Like I love when people criticize Xbox, but I don't understand how you go off, like jump out the ship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you mean to tell me you made Xbox content through the dark ages of Xbox, but the moment stuff starts to even look slightly going downhill, he was like, it's time to go.
This is what people thought I was doing. Because I got burnt by crap gamers legacy. I'm like, why does it have to be like him? Like, I've always, bro.
Don't people say there's a crap gamer curse or something like that? Like every
exactly. Now he's back on Xbox. Like, You can change your mind, but it's like it's obvious when you do it for clout, or it's obvious when you do it for views. I'm not going to say too much about him or people like him in this space, but it's just like, yeah, I get it. Tastes dynamic, whatever. But I fought for Xbox during the bad days, the worst generation. I was in N4G fighting like I was the most hated Xbot on that website. Moderators told me they would get like 30 DMs a day. 30 DMs a day about me. And that's the thing with Xbox fans. Xbox fans, we are used to this is why I like Xbox. We feel like we were on the journey with Xbox. I know it's kind of crazy because Microsoft is a $1 trillion company, but the Xbox division is crafted by its fans. It's by its mistakes and by striving. And there's something about an underdog that does that. So to Dirt's point, yeah, you're right. Like, when they didn't have anything, they still tried. So, and they really did. And Phil Spencer does care about celebrating gaming with fans in person. No one does it like Microsoft does. They fly people out, or not fly people out, but they hold events. That Colt's been there, other people been there, influencers go there. They meet up. You guys, Iron Lords, you guys going to all kind of black tie events with New York Game Show. You guys looking slick. Sitting there meeting Todd Howard, meeting Phil Spencer.
Hey, that wasn't me. I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there, which is sad. But like other lords were there. Like that is really important. It makes a big difference to the community. So when you get rid of events like E3, you kind of get rid of that connection with influencers, with gamers, with everything. We're the same. Like we're just everyone in chat. The only difference is we've got cameras and we're talking about the games.
Yeah,
but
and
we're
these
the same.
Absolutely.
These events are important because for smaller content creators too. Like if you can get the numbers to go to these events, you have a lot more access to some of these people. And now imagine taking these events away. You know, since you're there, studios have no problem working with you. You're already there. They might as well give you free content so they can get free publicity. But if they weren't there and you weren't there, do you think Microsoft, 2K, EA, Ubisoft flying these small content creators out to look at their games? No. Nah. They're like, hit me when you get taller. Hit me when you get taller. Like
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hey, Black, you guys said I am one of the guys in the chat. You know, everybody know my story that listens to my channel. I am one of the guys in the chat, and I think why there's so many Xbox guys that's like some people say, like I remember Slow Mo said they're sensitive, and I don't like to say that because we all have different sensitivity levels. But what I will say is why some Xbox guys is mad at Gaz or some other Xbox channels. Some of those guys, some of us, I would say, we like these Xbox channels to get away from the PlayStation fanboys that's everywhere, right? So when we go to our favorite Xbox channel, and you know, it's one thing to criticize.
You guys are like, what?
yeah. Then you might have some ponies on your shoulder. Oh, come on, man. No. So what happens?
I like having when you get to know the people, they're actually sound people. And if you sat down and have dinner with them, some of them are crazy. I get it. Some are crazy. Some people I will not ever chill with, like Woolly Gamer. There's no way. That's going to be a fisticuffs. Someone's getting a criminal record.
Oh, my God.
That's going to happen.
Guys, let me tell you exactly. I don't know if you know my story, but I talk about it all the time. I was there where you are right now. Yeah. And I was, we're all adults. I can be cool with these guys. I was cool with some of them. And then I started to notice that they would still throw me. Like we're talking trash in the DM. Yeah, they would throw me up on the bus on Twitter, throw me up on the bus doing this. Damn it, man! I thought we were supposed to be cool. Right? Then all of a sudden, it hit me like I don't know these guys for real. I don't really have to be friends with these guys. And it just like I said, because I'm and I know how the guys in the chat think. Like, yeah, I feel you, man. And what happened was there was some other stuff that went on behind the scenes. I could tell you behind the scenes, guys, with some other ponies I was trying to be cool with. And I said, whoa. And then I realized if your internet persona is a POS, I don't want to know the real you. That's just me because I don't have to know you. I don't know your real name. I don't know what you look like. It's like I don't have to force a relationship with a dude. I don't
you know what's crazy?
See, and I might learn that lesson. I might, you're right there. So I'm like that. My mantra is, if you walk towards me, I'll run towards you. I like to give you a chance. I don't want to be a prick to everyone, and I just like to be nice. But it's happened to me loads of times where people will take advantage. And watch this space. It might happen. You've been burnt by it. It might happen to me. And then you'll say, Gaz, I told you. And I won't have anything to say because I was like, I tried to give people chances. And
I feel I tried to do it too, but
it might bite me in the backside. Who knows?
That's why I always
but King Thrash, he deserves to get murked. I saw the stuff he was doing.
Did you see what he did to me yesterday? Cool. Did you see what he did to me yesterday?
I did. I like that. I shared it. It's just like me and Colt and everyone were talking about like, what is this?
I'm telling you, because, listen, man, we can talk about it afterwards. But we'll talk about it. Seriously,
sorry, Addict. This is your show. We're just here talking.
Sorry about that, Addict.
But one thing I could say, people say what they want. When it comes to personalities on the internet, people say what they want about BG. But you know what I always see in the chat?
He blocked me.
What Dadu Taku said. Besides BG, I don't really trust the other ones.
I like BG. He's always having conversation. He will come on the show. He will have a chat no matter who. Even if he's blocked, like him and J-Dub had issues, right? I wanted him and J-Dub in there. Not J-Dub. Hey, J-Rock. Him and J-Rock had issues. But J-Rock said, I'm cool with him if he comes on. And BG said, yeah, I'm cool with him. And internet beef, it spills out quick. Everyone knows, look, I'm Team Xbox, this guy's Team PlayStation, you'll have beef. It happens all the time. But I'm trying to remind myself, like, we're older now, like, it's still video games, it's not a problem. I like BG. I love Weapon Wheel podcast. I love the banter there. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but BG, I like him.
I don't even interact with him. He blocked me.
I don't know why he did that. I don't know. See, this is the thing. Like, everyone's like, and now I'm worried. Like, people message me like, why are you liking him? Like, he blocked me. I'm like, bro, I came in this space 2 years ago, bro. And like, I was fighting in the trenches on the front lines on N4G. Now you guys are on Twitter. I don't know the history behind all of this, but BG is a cool guy. I don't know what was going on with that. And it's just,
but I never.
And I want a show where I have Xbots and ponies fight each other and we just have a fun time. Because then we just thrash out and then realize it's just jokes. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know. But it's just personalities, man. But the main thing is, are people being sincere? Are being real?
That's the real question.
If people are being fake, then fine.
That's the real question right there.
Yeah. That's the one. If they're being fake or doing it for clout, then that's fine. But if anyone dares say that to me, that pisses me off. So if ponies come out and they'll weaponize that, I will obliterate them and their whole family. How dare they say that to me? That is not something I will stand for. To say that I'm not real, that I will not stand for.
I can almost guarantee the reason you got blocked from BG is because sometimes BG be getting really emotional on certain subjects, and he be just dropping band nukes everywhere.
I don't talk to him, bro.
No, it would be like one of those things where you know how like when you comment on threads that's already commented. Yeah, you know how like sometimes you'll comment on threads that's commented on threads and you don't realize the originated of the thread was like someone else.
Yeah,
you probably commented on one of those, and BG just got rid of that whole thread.
It's cool, man. It's cool because I was on this was a couple years ago. I think it's before COVID. I was on Weapon Wheel like 4 straight weeks. Then he asked me to come on one time. I said I couldn't, and he never asked me again. I mean, it's cool. I don't want to go in there anymore anyway. But
yeah. Oh man, what? I don't know. I'm learning in this space. I'm just learning in this space.
I'm gonna hit up BG. We got to get to the bottom of that,
bro. Listen, Addict. It truly does not matter to me.
It doesn't matter, but at the same time, if it's something simple, I would like it resolved. Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Ponies to block me.
That's cool. I see. I wouldn't call BG a pony though. Like,
listen,
I
agree.
Push you back on
he was one of the few PlayStation guys I actually liked because I always thought he was fair. But
I feel you. I mean, we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. But I appreciate everyone for coming through. We had a good, massive amount of people in here. Dirt, tell the people where you at, man. You know what it is. Swamp the chat with your links. Make sure they know where you came from.
Yeah,
he already had it.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, what happened? Oh, damn. Yeah, guys, check out my channel. Of course, it's a pro Xbox channel. I gotta be honest, it's a pony free zone. It's a pony free zone because I'm so tired of those guys. It's like the guy that came in earlier, Eric the Beer. He jumped in my chat one day saying, get out of here, man. We need a safe haven away from him. So
he'll
yeah,
get
man,
rid of you too. His chat will get rid of you.
Oh yeah,
Oh, his chat is ferocious, bro. They think I'm a pony. That's how strong they are. But I love your show. I always tune in.
That's it, guys. Just sub. I do regular videos. Got a podcast on Monday evenings. WBG Xbox Podcast. We have a lot of fun. We talk a lot of trash, and that's it, guys.
It's a great show. Definitely check it out.
Yeah. So we'll get Gaz, man. Where can people find you? When's this Halo video dropping?
Oh man, my voice is getting better, so hopefully tomorrow. And everyone's like, "Oh, here you go, Gaz crying about the Halo again." It's a positive video because I feel positive about the future. So tomorrow, you can check out Game On Daily, one word. Check that out. And Saturday we have Go Live chat show. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, hopefully I'll do well by you with this video. It'll take a while to edit. I'm not sleeping today.
I'm not sleeping. Yeah, and you guys can catch me, Lord Addict IOP. Someone put Gaz's link in the chat. Oh, I don't know what happened. Huh?
I'll do it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
You don't have to, but thank you.
Yeah, so put your link in the
go
chat.
Packers. That's exactly why you blocked my channel, you punk. Man, you're lucky I ain't on my channel. I cuss you out. There's a guy that come in my comment section. No matter, I could be talking about church.
I love when Dirk just goes at someone in the chat. He's like, just come over here. Come over here and say that to my face.
But like my chat blocked him a long time ago. Shut up. I don't rock with these ponies, man. Like this is years of pent up frustration, bro. Like TJ said earlier in the chat, I always say they beat my legs in last generation. Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
My legs are fully healed. They're fully healed.
I kind of envy these new Xbox people showing up that haven't dealt with this nonsense in this generation.
They don't know.
Like they have no clue how real things was last year. There was times where I wasn't making content like I make now, but I couldn't imagine what it was like making content back then.
My god!
I was doing podcasting, but I wasn't making individual videos, and I couldn't imagine what it's like to back before the studios are being bought to come up with videos to be made during that time. It's like, we're talking about the 5 studios that Xbox owns. What's Minecraft gonna do?
My God, bro. Bro, not only that, I started my channel. I told you this before, but I started my channel right after they canceled Scalebound. They got rid of Fable Legends and Lionhead. They had no games. I was green, right? So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who was friend, who was foe. I was not doing console war stuff at all. I saw somebody that said Dirt was bullied. I wasn't bullied, but I didn't really know how to fight back. I had 100 subs, right? Opponents is still coming into my chat attacking me, and I had 138 subs. Right? I didn't know how to deal with it. I went on a couple podcasts, and those guys quit on me. They turned to ponies. It's like, what is going on? So yeah, there's a reason I am like I am.
And remember the Xbox the Xbox people civil war. There was literally people don't realize the stuff that was going on behind closed doors, man.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a time. There was a time where there was literally a civil war going on between Xbox content creators. It might as well have been what's the civil war on the Avengers? Like it was, I wasn't involved. Okay, I wasn't involved. I was in my own little corner. I was at the top, with some binoculars watching what's going on.
But what caused it? What was
I can't remember exactly what caused it, but it was bad for a while, man. It was bad for a while. Colt, you might ask Colt. He might remember it.
Yeah, let me ask him. Because he's been covering it for a while. I regret it so much. I didn't even know Twitter had this own thing. I had a Twitter account made years ago. Didn't have to use Twitter. So I was just like, meh. like, I don't know how to use this. I was sitting in the trenches. N4G is a pony paradise site.
Oh my God. Yes, it was. Oh, goodness.
It was so
Oh,
bad.
God.
And I was there. Me and two of my other friends were just there battling it out. It was just a constant
Yo,
gangbang. Sorry.
can't.
Anyway, but yeah.
Xbox
Super
wasn't
chat,
giving us
man.
ammo, guys. They wasn't giving us
Super
ammo
chat.
either. Oh, it was
$5 super chat from Let's Play with Each Other's Joysticks.
What? Yo,
I missed Gaz. At least I got to see his face before the show was over. I'd like a co-op with him one day. Don't tell Saul.
What the hell? Yo,
Pause.
I'm not. His
Pause that.
profile picture is Kirby, but Kirby is inside of
A flashlight.
Yeah.
What the
this
hell
is
is
PG.
that?
Oh my God.
Don't tell
my God.
Saul. What?
Everybody said pause in the chat. Oh,
All right, we're gonna end on that one, but I appreciate everyone coming
Exactly,
through.
bro.
We'll see you guys next week. This is
inside.
Lord Addict, Gaz, and Dirt.